to The Whole and Complete Woman, where we provide practical tips and strategies for achieving your health, wealth, and relationship goals and desires. Yes, I said desires because God did not place desires in your heart just to tease you. My hope is that every episode empowers you with the tools, wisdom, and resources to not only accomplish your goals, but to create a life you truly love and build a legacy that impacts generations to come. Because the people who come after us are depending on us to pave the way. So I thank you for being here. You're investing not only in your future self, but in every person who will benefit from your growth. And I love that because everyone's journey looks a little different. So today we have our guest, Philippa Channer, with us.
Yes.
She is a marketing strategist, speaker, author, and founder of Channer Consulting.
Yeah.
Philippa helps women entrepreneurs move from scattered marketing to CEO level clarity. Through her consulting, workshops, speaking engagements, and business programs, she equips entrepreneurs with the strategy, structure, and confidence to build businesses that are visible, focused, and sustainable. She believes that marketing doesn't begin with tactics, it begins with clarity. And when women learn to lead from that place, they stop spinning their wheels and start building businesses that truly reflect their vision and purpose. Philippa, welcome to The Whole and Complete Woman.
I'm so happy to be here. Ever since we met and that you came on my podcast, I have been waiting for this opportunity to show up here. So I am honored that you invited me to be present.
Yes, so happy that you're here today.
Yes.
So, for the people that are listening, if you've ever felt like you're constantly busy in your business, but not actually making the progress you hope for, today's conversation is for you. So, we're talking about one of the biggest mindset shifts every entrepreneur has to make, moving from being the person who does everything to becoming the CEO who leads with clarity and intention. So we're going to discuss why so many entrepreneurs stay stuck in operator mode, the mindset shift from employee thinking to CEO thinking, why marketing often isn't the real problem, how clarity changes every business decision you make, and what it takes to build a business that grows without burning you out. So, Philippa, you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs getting stuck in operator mode. What does that actually look like?
So that is finishing a long week and knowing that you accomplished a lot of tasks. You can look back at your task list, see all the things you checked off, but then not feeling like you actually accomplished the goals or made any progress towards your ultimate goal. That is that busy trap where we're doing a lot of things. We're cycling and checking off a lot of boxes, but the progress we're making is there's so many different scattered silo projects that we're working on. And oftentimes none of those projects are related to each other. Sometimes they're competing against each other and we don't even realize it. And so what the missing piece is and what's causing this scattered work is that we don't have a solid framework that's giving us the foundation, the filter to help us understand what is important in our time and our efforts and our resources. And so we end up taking on projects, opportunities, and doing things that it feels right, because somebody told us that it feels right, or because we've always done it, or because we used to do it when we worked at another job and that's what makes sense for there and we were good at it. So we just kind of transfer those habits into our new entrepreneur journey. And all of it just felt like it's what we should be doing. And we just don't realize that it's not actually helping us reach our goal because we don't even know what that goal is yet. We didn't take the time to set that future for ourselves yet.
Yeah. So how does an entrepreneur decide what she should be doing versus maybe there's things that she needs to delegate?
Yes. So the first thing we want to do is start with that vision. I take all of my clients through a vision exercise. This is where we start. Before we do anything market related, before we even create one social post, we start with the vision. And this is going out at least 3 years. Sometimes some people can go out 10 years, but we go at least 3 years out. And it's almost like a meditation experience that we do. we close our eyes and I just whisper some prompts and I have them envision the woman that they're going to be 3 years from now. And we don't just talk about their business. We talk about the woman from the minute she opens her eyes in the morning till she goes to bed. All the things she's encountering, who she's with, what she's eating, the activities she's doing before and after work, how she's showing up at work, what she's wearing, what is she doing, what's the task she's doing at work, how is she helping her clients? Are the clients still the same that she's doing today or have they evolved because her services have evolved? And basically helping her really get into the embodying who that woman is in that moment so she can really feel how the business has evolved. And that helps us get the foundation of the business that we're trying to build. And then we can then come from that vision and say, okay, what does that business now look like? And what are the goals? What are the things that we need to do to make that business a reality? From that point, if we're looking at the day-to-day tasks, the day-to-day routines that we're doing, if what we're doing is not related to getting us closer to that vision, we're either going to, we're going to get rid of it. If it's not helping us get to that vision, we're getting rid of it. If it's helping us get closer to that vision, but if it's not a CEO level task, that's what we're going to delegate. I have a chart that was inspired by another podcaster that I listened to, Rachel Cook, and from the CEO Collective. And she designated 4 different columns of charts, or 4 different columns of responsibilities. There were administrative, which were worth $10 an hour. Not to say that you pay somebody $10 an hour to do these tasks, but the level of exertion, she just categorized them $10 an hour. And these were the more administrative, like checking emails, scheduling appointments, stuff like that, sending invoices, things that anybody could do. Doesn't take a CEO to do these. The next level were things that were a little bit more advanced, but still didn't require CEO to do. This could be writing some blog posts, writing and posting some social media content, and some other stuff. Those are worth $100 an hour tasks. Then there's the third column, which went up to $1,000 an hour task. And those tasks were more like making some strategy plans, actually developing your strategy for the next few months and, making some connections, networking, stuff like that to generate some leads, move the business forward. And then the last category was doing things like this, showing up on stages, doing some talks, doing some presentations, actually serving your clients, things that are going to really generate some money for the business. Those were $10,000 an hour tasks. And when you look at your week, you try to say, okay, where's my time being spent? Is all of my time, even if I'm a solopreneur and nobody else is on my team, things got to get done. But if all of my time is being dedicated to these $10 an hour tasks, if I'm trying to build a business that's worth $200,000 a year, I need to be putting out $200,000 worth of time, of value in what I'm doing. And so that chart's really helpful. I can send it to you so people can kind of see like, okay, what tasks am I doing and where does that value line up to see what kind of things that they can start kind of delegating and getting rid of to free up some of their time so they can actually do some of that CEO level investments.
Yes. That is such an important way to look at that. I know even for myself and the different businesses that I've had, I've been guilty of like the checking emails and scheduling.
Yeah.
And it really is like most important that we're spending our time on the quote unquote $10,000 task. I'll often say, if it doesn't require my face or my voice, then somebody else needs to be doing this, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
a lot of times that's the case. What are some of the things that you find with entrepreneurs that really holds them back from being able to delegate and let go of some of these things?
Oftentimes, other than funding, so a lot of my clients and the people who listen to my podcast are solopreneurs. And so they are financially not ready yet to bring on staff. But when they are, oftentimes they've been doing all the things for so long that they
Yeah.
can't see the separation of their tasks. They can't see where one task starts and the next, or one ends and another one starts. And so it's taking that time to actually chart out the activities that you're doing. We spend so much time creating these systems and flows to make work easy for us, which is definitely something that's good to do. But when you add somebody to the mix, you have to now go back and separate that flow to allow somebody else to step in. And so you have to start creating those buckets again where, okay, what is this task? What is it accomplishing? And how can I separate that? I think if you're considering adding people to your team and you know you want to do it now, is starting from now and creating those SOPs, and things like AI is going to help you do that so much easier now. But your standard operation procedures for everything that you're doing, if you know this is a task that you want somebody else to do eventually, create that SOP for it, because you don't want to wait until you hire them and then create it. You want to create a seamless entry point for them so that you can train them right away and seem like you know what you're doing. And they don't seem like, oh, I'm coming to a team that's not prepared for me.
Yes. Yes. And I know Loom has evolved over the years. It's one
Yes.
that I use just even in
Yes.
communication with different people on my team, like a quick video, let me show you this,
Yes.
show you that. But now it makes SOPs for you. So what I did with my
Mm-hmm.
email was I would go into my email and say, when we receive an email like this is what we do. We do, receive one like this is where you file it. If we receive one like this is how you respond to it. If you receive this, then you need to go into our project management system, make a note here, and then do XYZ. And
Yes.
Loom was, and it was kind of a little messy when I was doing it because I'm like, okay, what do you do? I'm opening up different things, and Loom created the best SOP for that, like pulled out all of
Yeah.
my like, okay, no, you want to do this, kind of like back and forthness that I was doing in the
Mm-hmm.
video, pulled it all out into a nice SOP. And what you can do is, so what I did with my operations manager is I just kept creating a video and you could just add it, tack it on to the last one, and then it
Oh,
just
nice.
created this
Yes.
incredible SOPs now. So AI
Yeah.
has made a world of difference when it comes to creating SOPs. I know back in the day
Yeah.
when I was creating them, you had to like type them up like with your fingers, like on the
Yes.
keyboard
Yes.
and say,
And
do
we were
this, and then you're
so,
going to do this.
hmm and it was easy for us to, because we're smart. We know what we're doing. We're not stupid. We're educated. But the more educated we are, sometimes it's harder to dumb down our talk. And sometimes our steps are built for our brains, not for the brains of the people
Yes.
who we're writing for. And so I often saw that I would train, and I had a virtual assistant a couple of years ago, and I would give her the steps. And she was able to point out right away that my steps were not that clear, because I would say, basically I was assuming things because I
Yes.
knew what I meant. And so it was having somebody else go through the steps made it obvious where those assumptions were clear, and where, we assume, I don't know, there's just little things like that where, we assume when we say, okay, go to Google folders and da da da, not everybody works in Google. Some people work all 100% in Microsoft. And so somebody comes on your team and you work with Google Workspace. They may not natively know that Google Drive is where you're going to go to Google folders. Just little things like that.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to add in those extra steps
yes.
for everything. It's, all the different things. One thing, let me know if you see this with your clients and even yourselves. I don't create SOPs for other softwares though. Like we use
Mm,
Practice Better for our EMR. Like I
okay.
won't create this is how you go into this system and do that. I expect my team to be able to pull up that company's SOPs and
I see
work
what you're
their
saying.
way through that,
Yes.
because other companies will change things in the background and move where buttons are. And if I'm over here trying to keep up with that, that's not a good use of my time.
Yes. I think if only if I am using the system that I'm using in a way that's not native to the platform. So if like I'm using it in a way that's not natural to the way that they designed it to be, then I
Yes.
would kind of show the team like, yeah, I know you're supposed to do this, but I want you to do this instead. That makes sense.
So, one of your topics is the visibility problem isn't visibility, it's clarity. Tell us what you mean by that. And why are so many entrepreneurs saying, like, or feeling like my marketing isn't working? Tell me about that.
Yeah. The problem I'm seeing is that a lot of women are trying to get that visibility too quickly, meaning that they don't have the structure or the plan in place first to support that visibility once they get it. Meaning like you go out, you attend events, you get that visibility, you go on stages, you get that visibility. What do you want the people to do with that visibility? How do you want them to respond? What do you want them to do with you, your services? Do you want them to buy a package? Sometimes they're not prepared for that visibility. It's just a matter of, okay, I'm here, know me, follow me, and that's it. And we don't want that. We want to have something solid to back it up with. So know why you want that visibility. Have that plan in place. Have that strategy in place first. Because if you don't have that strategy in place, if you don't know why you're having this visibility, you don't know what you're building for, knowing that vision that you're building your business towards and having that visibility supporting that vision, it's going to become very clear. Visibility, as it says, you're making visible to the world who you are and what you're doing. If who you are and what you're doing is still scattered on the inside and not really organized behind the scenes, that is going to become visible. And people are going to see that and they're going to feel that. I'm sure everybody has encountered a business where you went to start working with them and, things were just not lining up right. Either they weren't showing up for appointments or not necessarily like prepared. Emails were just scattered, whatever. Like you signed up, you're paying them and they're just not delivering as you thought they would. It's because
Yeah.
the systems weren't ready yet for that visibility.
Yeah. So it's important if you're going out to do all the things that people recommend, network, get on stages, speak, post on social media, that you actually have something on the back end for people to come into, whether or not that's an offer. What are we
Yeah.
offering them? And then also, when we do make that offer, can we, with integrity, deliver that offer to people? That's
Yes.
really, really, really important, especially in this coaching industry. It sounds like a lot of, and you may have heard this as well, there's a theory out there about like build the plane in the air, where coaches are so much about like
Mm,
take action, go, lots of motivational
yeah.
coaching, but then I've even seen where it's recommended to like build a course, but then you're like building the course after you've enrolled the people. It's an entire like mindset to do that. But then sometimes people aren't capable to actually deliver with integrity on the other end of that. And that becomes a problem. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do think it's important
Yep.
that, because people will feel that that's your reputation. Our goal is to help and
Hmm.
to impact people, and when we're not really able to do that because we're not prepared in the background, it really impacts everyone ultimately.
Yes. And when you're a service provider, you have to sell not just the value of the service that you're providing, but you're selling yourself. Like people have to know, like, and trust you in addition to know, liking, trusting your service. And if you are damaging your reputation by promising and under delivering, that can stick with you for many, many, many years and take a very long time to recover from. So it's better to
Yeah.
under promise and over deliver as much as you can.
Now, how do you help entrepreneurs lead with confidence? There's maybe some entrepreneurs who are listening and they're like, okay, but I'm not that girl. I've built it all out. I have all my curriculum done, things in place. I'm ready to invoice all of those things. But then she may be struggling with imposter syndrome or just second guessing herself. How does clarity
Yeah.
help quiet those doubts?
So going back to that vision that I was mentioning, that exercise, when you envision that woman that you want to become in 3 years from now, that leader who is showing up strong and confident in her business, accomplishing what you want to do in your business, that woman didn't become her like that. It's rare and almost never that leaders become leaders because of one miraculous, life-changing, chaotic moment. It is our life daily decisions that we're making on a regular basis. Going back to knowing that vision that we have for our business and asking ourselves, okay, every decision that comes our way on a daily basis, is this decision going to help me get closer to who she's becoming? If it is, great. If it's not, you saved yourself some time and energy. It's those baby steps every single day is getting her there. And it's just stepping in and believing, like you're mentioning just at the very beginning of this podcast, our faith. Oftentimes, like I know for me, I would not have started this business if I felt that God wasn't in support of me doing this. If it wasn't a calling from God. If we are walking in the same faith and you know that the person behind you and who's supporting you, that spirit that if it's God, Jesus, whoever it is that you're believing, if you have their trust and their faith that you're doing it and with them behind you, they're going to equip you with the resources and the confidence and the strength and the tools and the endurance to do what you need to do. So trust in that if there's an opportunity and it's right and it aligns with where you're going, you're going to get the equipment. You're going to be equipped to handle it. You just put one foot forward. You're going to get there.
Yeah. I mean, that faith and confidence in God is so important because we're all here. We all have a purpose, a calling on our lives, and a mission to fulfill, right? So it's when we're walking in that
Yeah.
alignment and we know and we understand this is what I'm called to do, it does make those hard days a lot easier. For women who are like, okay, I'm in it, I'm in the trenches. How do you help women who and we live in this society that's like this, even with my
Mm-hmm.
book, Worthy of Rest, I I hit on these points, but I want to hear your opinion on where we receive this almost badge of honor around being busy. How do you help women move from
Yeah.
being constantly busy to truly becoming strategic and putting on that CEO hat?
It's hard. It's hard because we've been trained for so long that as women, that we are doers. And if we're not doing something, if we're idle, then
Yeah.
we are, idle hands lead to, and so to be able to remove that idea. And it's not a matter of we're not going to be busy. It's not a matter of that busy is the wrong thing, because that's definitely not what I want to portray. We're still definitely, as CEOs of our business, we are still going to be busy. It's just that we're going to be now being busy in the right things. We're busy
Yeah.
right now doing 5 different things going in different directions. It's almost like a rowing team. We picture like a rowing team, Olympic rowing team. It's got 4 different rowers. They're all strong. They're all 100% committed to the team. They're dedicated and they're hardworking. But if one rower is rowing north, another rower is rowing south, one's rowing east, one's rowing west, no matter how hard and committed they're going, the boat's not going to move very far. And that's the same way
It's
with
not
our
gonna go
business. If
anywhere.
we're working very hard, yeah, if we're working hard on we're networking and we're busting our butts, getting out there and getting all to the events, but then realizing that our audience is over here and not actually at the events. Like if, let's say we're trying to reach women entrepreneurs and we're going to chamber events, which I love chambers. I'm a member of a chamber, but chambers typically at a networking event, they're going to have 60 to 70% men. So if your target audience is women entrepreneurs, why would you be at a chamber event if you're trying to reach your target audience? So an example of really busting your butt, but then your audience is over here. And then your messaging, let's say your messaging is for women who are, you're trying to target women who are facing issues with menopause and who obviously are in a certain age demographic. But then you're targeting all of your time and efforts on TikTok instead of putting your efforts on Facebook, where more of that demographic may be. Again, you're working really hard. You're creating a bunch of amazing
Yes.
TikTok stuff. Nobody's seeing it because your audience is somewhere else. So we want to get the busy work where now you're still creating the content. You're still going networking, but now you're networking at women organizations. So so now you're just transferring that time, but you're getting more for your effort at these more focused events. You're now getting more for your social videos that you're doing by putting them on Facebook. And so you're still putting out an energy and busy, but now that busy time as a CEO is more focused and aligned and getting you in the right direction. So yeah, definitely don't want to set the tone and expectations that we're not going to be able to just stop and sit back. But having that alignment is going to give us the appreciation and the freedom to be able to have more time to say, okay, great, I've been able to focus this, and we will find more times for us to be able to sit back and say, okay, it's been a very long time that I've needed to work past my cutoff time, usually is 4 p.m. I've been able to shut down at 4 p.m. and be with my family. Before I found my
Mm,
alignment, I was sometimes still in my office at 7:30 trying to do things because I was doing all the things in different directions.
yeah.
Now I've got that time back and I'm making more progress with my time.
That is so good. It's so good about having work that's just very intentional and then
Yeah.
very focused on what will actually give us the biggest return. I have a couple people in my company, they do amazing work, but then even with, being in leadership and helping
Mhm.
the people that I work with, it's also sometimes I can see where I've done this for myself in the past too. Like let's say that I'm working on a presentation and then it's that last like 10 where we spend all of this time, but it actually doesn't make that big of a difference,
Yeah.
where we
Yeah.
have to say, okay, like it's not that, and when it comes to, having a team and they're billing hours, sometimes it's like, you know what, this last 10% where you spent like half your time,
Mhm. Yep.
like we've got to make sure that we're spending our times doing the things that's going to give us the biggest return.
Yes.
Same thing with, like you said, with networking at the right places or posting in the right places, being where our audience actually is.
Yeah.
Now, in this world of entrepreneurship, how do you help entrepreneurs stay focused when there's so many experts, strategies, and opinions that are competing for their attention? Like, literally, if I open up Instagram right now, I am going to be bombarded with all these different ads of people saying, to
Try
trying to get
this.
me to
Do
stop the
this.
scroll to tell me,
Uh-huh.
like, no, do it this way, do it this way.
Yeah.
All these competing opinions. How do you help
Yeah.
entrepreneurs stay focused?
I think what it is awareness is good. Awareness of the tools and options out there is always good. Staying educated is definitely recommended. If you see trainings, it's always you want to stay on top of the technologies out there. AI, you definitely want to, that's an example of being aware of AI, how it can help your business, incorporate it. But it always go back to that vision. If you have that vision for your business and the business you're growing, you will have that filter to help you decide when a new tool comes up. You will be able to analyze it and say, okay, is this tool going to help me
Yeah.
get closer to my goal or not? If not, it's going to be a distraction. You can shelf things. If it's an opportunity, if it's an event, you can be presented with an opportunity to speak on a stage. On the surface, that's like who doesn't want to get that opportunity to be in front of a bunch of people and share your message? Who would turn down a speaking opportunity? But if you look at it, like, for instance, okay, I'm looking for women entrepreneurs who are service-based businesses, and ideally they've been in business for like 3 to 5 years. It's been going good and they're ready to start growing their business more. And so they're no longer in the startup phase. They
Yeah.
know what they're doing. And so it's more
Specific.
specific, So if I am approached to speak at an event for a bunch of women that just started their businesses in the last 6 months, I could, because it would be like, okay, it would be almost like a gift where it's more like it's a charity moment where I don't expect to get clients. But if I'm looking for clients, that opportunity wouldn't be the best investment of my time because they're not ready for the services I'm ready to deliver yet. So it's having that filter and that discernment to see those opportunities, to see those tools and be able to say, okay, how does this fit into the bigger picture of my business right now? And do I really need that invest? Because especially if it's a tool, if it's like a new program or something, not only do you have to now integrate it into your systems, but there's going to be a learning curve where you have to spend some time to actually learn how to use that tool and
Yeah.
all the different features in it. Is it worth your time as a CEO, especially if you're a solopreneur? Your time is your biggest currency. Is
Hmm.
it worth it? If it's not broke, just
Don't
stay
fix
with it.
it.
Yes.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's been one of my biggest things in my business, and also understanding having a boring business, and not boring in like to the world, right? And the
Yeah.
services that I provide, but on the inside, the back end, that I'm not just completely obsessed with always creating new things, or that shiny object syndrome where you're like, okay,
Mm,
let me get that new thing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And always recreating things. I recently created this whole thing inside of this new platform that does asynchronous coaching and had this whole AI, all of this stuff. And we kept having tech issues with it. Then people couldn't get into the site. And I ended up calling the people that had purchased it. Let's just hop onto like an old fashioned consultation. And
Yeah.
they actually
Yep.
love that because a lot of the women that I work with actually want to be seen and heard and want to
Yeah.
have more opportunity to discuss and talk through what they're dealing with in their health, and
Yes.
low energy or trouble losing weight, and some of these sometimes are very sensitive topics. So for me, it was a big kind of like loop around, like, you know what, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
We're going to just keep doing what works. And honestly, my brain, like my mental load, has felt so much more free because now it's like, well, we have all the systems in place for that. Before it was like every new thing we bring in, it needs a new system. Every new offer, it has a new funnel, like all of those things. And
Yes.
now it's just like, no, we're good. It works. Our clients are happy. We're going to keep with this right here. So
Yes. And
very, very important.
and I think it's going back to, okay, one of the reasons why I find it hard to serve new entrepreneurs, because they're still in that phase of learning and growing. They haven't found that pattern for their business yet that works. They're still trying to find that right way to serve their clients in a way that just, okay, this is it. Don't need to change it anymore. And
Yes.
so to try and tell them no, 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 just pick one, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Like, no, I can't. I have to keep reinventing it. And I'm like, it took me the same thing. I'm guilty of it too. It took me a
Yes.
while to say, you know what? No, this is the one way that I am the strongest. This is the way that the clients are getting the most value.
Yeah.
I don't need to do anything else. I just stick to
Yep.
this service, and maybe I can create other, creative ways to promote it and offer it, but this core of the service stays the same. And the other thing, as you were saying it, is I thought this is where I thought you were going, but I'll mention it too, is once you find that core message that's yours, we as the business owner who's creating content for that message, it's going to be really quick for us to feel like I've already said this message over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I want to say something new. I need to create new content. No, you don't. Trust me. If you have, I like to say, like 3 core like messages that you have that revolve around who you are, your brand, and the value that you offer. That's all you talk about. Don't stray away and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Always talk about those, because several things are happening. One is that you're getting new people all the time that are following you. It's new to them. So just because you've seen it every day doesn't matter. It's new to them and they need to hear it. And then your audience, you're one out
Yeah.
of many voices that they're listening to on a regular basis. And so they may or may not remember the last time you talked about that topic. It's going to be new and fresh to them. So, and they need to hear it. Repetition is key. It's kind of like if you go to church, the pastor doesn't say, okay, well, I've already taught about, the resurrection. We don't need to talk about that ever again. Like, no, they're going to keep
Right?
talking about the same message. And so we've got each business has these at least 3 core pillars that we should always be talking about. Stick to those, and they should tie into your core service, and
Yeah.
you be golden. Yeah.
That is so good. And I'm a person, I recognize patterns very quickly, just like boom, boom, boom. And I think that's what makes me, when it comes to functional medicine and looking at people's lab work, I'm able to put together these pieces of the puzzle to see what's going on inside their body. And when it comes to
Yeah.
social media, and I'm not even saying I do this, because I just mostly my posts are when I'm on podcasts and things like that, we just repurpose. I don't spend a lot of time on social media. But that's also not where my clients typically come from. We get a lot of clients through referral, through
Yep.
networking and webinars and things like that, right?
Yep.
But what I do notice about people that do well on social media, and some of my friends that have massive followings, they literally say the same thing all the time.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
all the time. Like,
Yep.
even if it's like a reel with no words, it will say like the same, like it's like one of the ones where it's like pictures and them like doing life, a video reel of that. It will
Yep.
still say like across the top the same thing it always says. And
Yes.
I'm like, you know what? It's like, keep it simple,
Yeah.
And they have massive followings, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Same thing.
Yeah.
They just
I've
keep it on repeat, because people also need to hear the same things over and over. And like you said, they might not
Yes.
even the same
Yes.
people aren't always watching that same message again.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, I haven't seen, it's been a while since I've been on TikTok, but I used to see where some of the people that I follow that have like millions and millions of follows and have like these viral videos, I've started to notice that the same exact video, they would just repost it every few months and get millions and millions of views again. Like, not even, they wouldn't
Yes.
change a thing about it. They just repeat the same content. So, I mean, nothing to stop us from doing the same thing. The podcaster I mentioned earlier, Rachel Cook, every year at the beginning of the year, she repeats the same series in January, which talks about, where she mentions the same checklist I was talking about, where the chart where she talks about the CEO chart, it's a part of a series. And she repeats that series, doesn't change anything, just repeats that series
Mm,
every year, always gets, report about that. So like, it's fresh and new to your audience, and it helps us as we're creating the content. The more and more we talk about it, it's like practice, repetition for us. It gets more and more instilled into our hearts
yes.
and brains. And it's helps us to just, when somebody just talks, like for us today, like I was kind of prepared for today's podcast, kind of not. And I was just like, what am I going to talk about again? Oh, it's just me. It's who I am. I don't need to prepare for this. And
And I don't send
so
questions
just,
beforehand.
yeah, exactly. And so it's just like, if it's something I'm always talking about, I don't need to be prepared to talk about me. It's just it comes out my mouth.
Yes,
If I was
yes.
talking about different
So,
things all the time and changing, yeah, it would be hard. Ooh, it would be hard to keep up if I was constantly changing topics.
yes, yes, exactly. So, speaking of being unprepared, we've got rapid fire part of the
Okay.
podcast. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, and a lot of them's just like one thing, okay?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what's one business myth you wish entrepreneurs would stop believing?
That they have to do it by themselves.
What's one thing every CEO should stop doing today?
Reacting with feelings. Get out of reactive mode. Start
Yes,
being more proactive. Yeah.
that's good. What's one investment that's worth making earlier than most people realize?
If we're talking about service providers who are working on building their personal brand as well as their brand, I would say getting their name as their domain as they grow and evolve. I got PhilippaChanner.com like last year. I wish I got it for a way long time ago.
What's one habit that has made the biggest difference in your own success?
Qu- Quarterly retreats. Each
Mm,
quarter, I take the time, a CEO day, to do that reflection. Where am I going with this business? And it helps me realign and refocus, set some goals for the quarter. And if I need to reset that vision, if I've grown, I can evolve the vision. So adjust where I'm growing to.
I love me a retreat.
Yes.
And then fill in the blank. Clarity creates what?
So much. Clarity creates the CEO. I
Mm,
mean, yeah.
yes, yes. Well, Philippa, I have loved this conversation because success is not about working harder. It's really about leading differently. And you've just
Yes.
reminded us that the business we build will grow as much as we do. So we gain clarity about when we gain clarity about who we serve, how we lead, where we're going, we stop reacting and really start building with purpose. So, thank
Yes.
you for sharing your wisdom and equipping women to become intentional CEOs who lead with clarity and confidence. So, before we wrap up, tell everyone where they can connect with you, learn more about your work, and pick up a copy of your new book, When Clarity
Yeah.
Leads.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. First off, I agree. I love this conversation. I am so glad we had it and I loved your questions. This is great. To connect with me, PhilippaChanner.com. You'll get all the things Philippa related. I'm typically on LinkedIn is where you're going to find me. If you want to connect with me real time, I'll try to answer all the comments as I can and messages. So connect with me there. And the book, yes, it officially released. Okay, well, we're recording this the end of July. And so it is released this week and I'm so excited. It's on
Yes.
Amazon. So you can get the hard copy, paperback, or a Kindle version if you like your digital copies. And there's a bonus for everybody who purchases it. In the back of the book, you'll get access to a 4-part course where you'll get to dig a little deeper into the content and message of the book and kind of see a little bit more of my coaching vibes.
I love that. I didn't know that. My book is on the way, so I'm excited to get
Yeah.
to the back of the book where there's some bonuses. Also, share a little bit about your free strategic marketing workshop and how listeners can get involved.
Yes. So every month, no matter when you're listening to this, every month, the third Monday of each month at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I offer a strategic clarity workshop. It's like an insider experience where you get to see what it's like to be coached with me. And I walk you through that vision exercise that I mentioned earlier, where you get to visualize that woman you're becoming
Mm.
and I just walk you through a little bit deeper into some of the practices that I coach through to help you see just how much easier and freer your CEO journey can be at when you start to operate in a more clear and more focused mode when you have that vision in place.
So, third Monday
Yeah.
of every month, Philippa has her strategic marketing workshop, and you can get involved and also get to experience some of her work and then also what she does with helping CEOs create their vision. So, I absolutely love that. Thank you so much for being here today, Philippa. To the audience, if you've enjoyed today's conversation and you want to hear more interviews like this on health, wealth, relationships, faith, leadership, business, and living as a whole and complete woman, we'd love to have you as a part of our community. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform, follow the show so you never miss an episode. And if today's conversation encouraged you, would you please share it with another woman? One of my greatest hopes for this podcast is to create a community where women feel seen, supported, and empowered. So every share, like, review, subscription, all of that helps us reach other women who may need exactly this message. So thank you for being here, and I will see you next time on The Whole and Complete Woman.